Hi, my name's Dan Ball. We're here at Bearwood Lakes today at the Mizuno Performance Centre. Today we're going to look at the new Swing DNA system. So this is a shaft optimizer. This is going to give us everything we need to know about the swing and what head and shaft combination we're going to go for. In the Mizuno cart there's so many different shaft choices, we've got to narrow it down to the best ones that suit the game. So this is going to measure club head speed, how quick you are through the ball, tempo, how quick you change from top of the swing to your downswing, your toe down, how much you force the head downwards in the swing, your kick angle, what happens at impact, and then your release factors, how much your right hand has an influence on the club. So what I'll do is I'll hit on now, shout out some numbers, and we'll put it in the system. Okay, so we've got a club head speed of 89 miles an hour. We've then got a tempo of 4, a toe down of 3, a kick angle of 4, release factor of 5. People can come down to the studio nervous, worried about what they're doing, not quite swinging as well as they should be. The shaft optimizer is going to measure everything to do with the shaft. So even if you're not swinging particularly well or you get the odd strike here and there, it's still going to give us some consistent numbers. Okay, shot 2, club head speed of 89 miles an hour, tempo of 5, toe down of 3, kick angle of 4, and release factor of 4. So this is all being measured through the sensors that run down the shaft and back into the DNA. Okay, so I'll hit one more, third shot. Okay, third and final shot. Got a club head speed of 91 miles an hour, tempo of 5, toe down of 3, kick angle of 4, and release factor of 4. Okay, so from the numbers we can see, club head speed of 89.67 miles an hour average, tempo 4, so quite a smooth transition from top to bottom, toe down and kick angle, not much going on through the shaft and the downswing, and then release factor, quite quiet hands through the ball, so there's no big flip. So what we can see here is 3 shafts that is recommended. I currently use the Project X 6.0, but that was done with the old software. So what it's done now is put 2 shafts in there that are quite similar weightings and quite similar flex on the curve. So it may be worth me having a look to see if there is anything better in there. Okay, what we can also see is that the shafts that we've also got in here rank from top 3 all the way down to 15th shaft there. Okay, so what we would look to do now is try the top 3 with a recommended head for myself and then see what comes up best. So from the shaft optimizer, the swings that we hit, KBS C-Tape Polite X came up as number 1, so I'm going to give this a go. This is where we go down to a little bit of fitter and player feedback. So we've got the 3 shafts at the top. We just got to make sure that they're all still performing right. So we'll use a little bit of flight scope as well to track a bit of ball flight. Okay, so let's give this one a go. Okay, so a good strike. Carrying out there at 150. Okay, so we've got a smash factor 1.37 and spin rate of 6.5, so pretty good. Okay, let me hit another one. Okay, so a little bit thin that time. That was more me than the golf club. Okay, carrying 156. Not too far away from the other one. Okay, same again. It's a better swing. Much more out the middle, that one, bit higher flight. Okay, carry distance 156, all pretty similar. Feels good to me, feels a little bit lighter than what I'm used to, but with the X still being in there, still feels like I can keep up with the head still feels like it can keep up with demand. So what I'm going to do now, just to show you the extremes of custom fitting, I'm going to stick in the shaft that was ranked 15 on the list, and we'll see how much difference that makes. So we've gone from a KBS C-Taper X, which is 115 grams, all the way down to a 95 gram XP 95 stiff. So a little bit of difference in there. So immediately feels a little bit lighter. Okay, so quite a big jump, 20 grams. I'd expect to see a little bit more of a higher ball flight and maybe a little bit more spin in there, resulting in a little bit more dispersion. Just feels a bit lighter. Okay, again, instantly just jumping up in the air. Didn't look like it went as far. Okay, so we've almost lost 10 yards straight away. Okay, so although club head speed creeped up, smash factor was a little bit worse. Okay, so didn't quite get the efficiency out of it. Spin rate wasn't too bad. Same again. Okay, so it's a much higher flight. Much higher flight. And again, distance was okay on that one. Okay, one more. Okay, so I've hit one pretty straight, one slightly right, and then one slightly left. Okay, that just feels to me like I can't control the club, just feels too light, not really sure where it's going. Dispersion between distance, shortest to longest, is a lot as well. So started off at 144, went up to 156, so it's quite a big jump between distances. What we have to work with the player is working out something that feels good to them, but also referring a little bit back to numbers. As a fitter, sometimes the numbers aren't always right. I could recommend a shaft to someone or a club to someone and they don't like the feel of it. So it's all about trying to find a balance between the two, between player and fitter. We now move on to length of shaft. This is done by measuring a person's height and then the knuckles to floor measurement as they stand up nice and tall. Now my measurements, I know I'm standard length. However, if we put someone in that's 6'2" with a knuckles to floor measurement of 30, we can see that the slide bar then moves up to 1/4 of an inch longer. So in a fitting process, I would then move from the white shafts, which are standard, and maybe look to fit more into a 1/2 inch longer shaft. Okay, so once we've done that, we then move on to the lie angle. We won't go into that today, but that is a must when you're club fitting, hitting off a lie board. Make sure you know what the club's doing at impact, just to make sure that ball's taken off line. Okay, as we move on to set makeup, so this is where I would talk through with the player any needs that they have, whether they want to carry a 3-iron, whether they want to carry a 4-iron. We then look to maybe get, maybe combine a hybrid in there as well. From here, we can then look to go into the wedges as well. Different different heads in the Mizuno range. You look at the forged, it's 3 degrees stronger than MP and or the Tour, so the wedge would be a little bit stronger. So we would then need to go through our wedges as we scroll through, and maybe look to combine. So if you just scroll down, so we would then look to put maybe a 50-degree gap wedge in. Okay, so what we can then do is look at how far these wedges are going, different degrees that they're going, and just bridge the gap into the set makeup. Some people prefer to have 2 wedges, some people prefer to have 3 wedges. I personally only have 2, I've got a 52 and 58. So it's really down to the player. And then as we go through, we can then add wedges in that we want to. If we then continue on to the woods, we can then look to maybe sit into a hybrid. So some players may not want to play a 4-iron or a 5-iron, and what we can do is maybe introduce a 900 hybrid in the 4 and 5, just for a little bit of ease of use. Okay, then moving through the software, we then go on to the grips. Okay, player preference on grips as well. Some people like it, favourite their football team, Man United red, Tottenham blue, etc. Main thing we need to look at is grip size. So in the glove hand, all we look for is that the middle finger should just be resting on the palm of the hand. Okay, people like fatter grips, that's fine, we can move on with that. So hitting the clubs that we did today on Flight Scope, what we could see was that the 900 Tour was the favoured head. What we moved into C-Taper Lite X, okay, from the Project X 6.0. Gone through the fitting process of the new software, gone with a blue and black multi-compound grip as a Tottenham fan. 1/4 of an inch longer, and then what we can look at here is the set makeup. So I've got a 4 and 5 hybrid in there, okay, and then we go 6 to pitch in the JPX 900 tool. Pitching wedge is working out through the shaft optimizer numbers that we got. It's going 1, 3, 4. I personally only carry 2 wedges, so I'm going to go for a 52 degree, which is here. And then I'm going to make sure it's in a finish of blue ion on the left hand side, and then I'm going to add that to my set. And then I will have a lob wedge, if you scroll down, 58 degree at the top, okay, yeah, in the blue ion as well, and I'm going to have it in a low bounce. So now my set makeup, I've got 6 to pitching wedge, okay, and then I've got a 52 degree gap wedge and a 58 degree, so 6 degrees gap between them. Similar bounce options in the wedges, which is quite nice for me. And then what we've got is we've got a 4 and a 5 hybrid at the top end of the bag. So we're obviously located in Berkshire. Get on the website, find your local place, your local fitting centre, and get one booked in.